What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more Surviving with Immersive Engineering. Now in today's episode we're going to be starting to set up the diesel generator. Now I'm ready to do this because last episode we made the excavator and I told you guys I was hyped for it, and I really was hyped for it, but then I realized that we don't have enough power generation for it because right now, we got some water wheels going here, we got some thermoelectric generators, but I calculated that to actually power the excavator right outside there, it would take 137 of these collectively. So, you could mix and match, but 137 is still a lot because at best you can get 30 RF per tick from both, and you need 4,096. So of course we are going to be turning to the diesel generator, which actually generates 4,096 RF per tick when it's getting diesel, or biodiesel I should say. So of course that is the best option. And the whole process to set it up is a little bit more complicated than, of course, setting up a water wheel, but it is well worth it. So I already went and crafted what we're going to be using for today. Now, like I said, we're going to be setting it up today, and there's actually two different things that you could start with. You could start with setting up the fermenter, which is what we're going to be doing, or you could start with setting up the squeezer. Now, they're both going to be relatively similar, except the fermenter is going to be using stuff like sugarcane, whereas the squeezer is going to be using stuff like seeds. And of course it's a lot easier to automate the fermenter than it is to automate getting seeds, but it's perfectly fine. We will automate both of them, and you get plant oil from the squeezer and you're going to get ethanol from the fermenter. You combine those and you are left with some biodiesel, which then you can put into the diesel generator. So I have made this nice little room down here. It's not super big, but I will end up expanding upon it, and it's kind of going to have to expand that direction just because we do have some water dripping through the ceiling, so if I were to go up one, we'd actually have lava and water. We're going to go into the thermoelectric generators, and the water wheels are both right there and right there. So we can't go that way, so we really can only go this way and this way. But this should be big enough for what we're doing today. So I kind of separated my inventory into two parts so you guys can see what we're working with. So the first part is going to be setting up the fermenter itself. So we're going to need 19 light engineering blocks. And I called this last episode, guys. I told you that the next time we make these blocks, we always are going to need an odd number. For some reason, everything uses an odd number. So of course, you're going to be left with an even number when you're making them because they come in sets of 2. So you're always going to have one left over. Same case for today. We're going to have one extra, but we don't actually have an odd number of fermenter blocks needed. We only need 8 of them. So we're not going to have any extra of these. But this is relatively easy to make, no steel is involved, just a little bit of iron and some copper. And that's really all you need for the fermenter, so we can set this up right now. It's really easy to do, and I'm trying to think of where I want to put it. We can put it like right over here. So it's a 3 by 3 by 3 setup, and I actually know how to set it up because it's actually super easy. So the whole bottom is light engineering blocks, then this layer is a light engineering block in the center, surrounded by these fermenter blocks. And then the top is again just another 3 by 3 of light engineering blocks. And it's going to be the same eventually for the squeezer, except these will be squeezer blocks and not fermenter blocks. And then we click on it and you can see we got the nice fermenter right here. So you're going to put power in on the top. I can't really see it right now because I can't jump high enough. But you're going to put power in there. You can pull the ethanol that we're going to be getting out of any of the bottom blocks on these sides. You can see it's kind of got a nice little opening there, and we can just kind of pipe things in or use conveyor belts to put things in wherever. Initially when I tested it, I just had the conveyor belt running right in here and it worked fine, so I assume it works fine wherever you want to put it in, and that's pretty nice. So eventually what we're going to be doing is pulling out using these fluid pipes. So I'm just kind of going to hook these up right here and bring it up one. Eventually we could hook it up. There's a couple things that we could hook it up to. We could just hook it up to a couple metal barrels before we get things going and get the actual diesel generator itself set up. Or there's a couple other better fluid options that we can hook it up to, but for now we'll leave it like this. And now we need to focus on actually getting the sugarcane. So I will run power to this later, but I do want to see where everything's going to be going in this room because I do need to pull the power down from the ceiling and then run it over here, but there is going to be some stuff going on over here. So I think the best option is to actually work in this corner just so that we have some room over here when we do need to get the power down. So unfortunately we're going to have to move this light somewhere else because we are going to need all the room. And we are going to be setting up a fully automated sugarcane farm. So this is probably the best way to go about getting stuff for this. If we look in the engineer's manual, we can flip over and you can see that melon, sugarcane, apple, and potato all get the same amount of ethanol. That's not actually the case with a squeezer. The industrial hemp seeds get a little bit more, but Of course, we're going to be getting 80 for all of these, so I thought sugarcane is a really easy thing to automate, and it's really cheap to do too, so we're going to be doing that. So what we're going to be needing for each one is going to be 8 sand, and of course I'm doing this twice just because why not, because I have the resources, but you could probably get away with just doing it once. So we're going to need 8 sand, and I'm actually going to have to kind of think through how I want to do this because I need correct spacing. 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, it looks like we're actually going to be taking up a good chunk of the room here. So actually, I'm probably going to do it in this other direction. I wasn't actually thinking of how much space I'm going to use up, but I think we can do it like this then. How many was that? It looks like it restacked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And here's the 8th block. Okay. So we're going to do that, and then we have to line the pistons right up here along the wall. So of course we're going to be using 8 pistons, and we'll get these other 8 out of here. And then of course the sugarcane are going to go right on top of this, meaning that we are going to need some water running down the center. So we got to have blocks here to contain it. Get out a bucket of water and put it right there. So it'll bring it right down to the end here. And at the very end, we're going to need to build this up a little bit, and we are going to be using a sticky piston. So each one of these is going to need a sticky piston. And then we are going to throw a block of redstone on this. And then we need to build up a little bit over here. And you know what? I am realizing this just now. We might need to drop this down one because we're going to be cutting into the ceiling. Yeah, we need to really quickly drop this down one, unfortunately. It's a relatively high structure that I'm making, and I need to run redstone along the top, which is why I need to drop it down one. Luckily for us though, this will get the sugarcane right when it gets to be too high, and we don't have any timers or anything, but it should update right away and immediately push the pistons out to collect the sugarcane. Let me just get this out here. I suspected that we might have to do this just because I didn't really feel like mining the entire room down because there's no need, but of course we got to bring this down. So we can put the sand back down. I believe I counted 8 again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we got 8 there. And luckily for us now, we're not going to have just like a weird line of stone sticking up out of the ground. So we should be good on that front. So put that there again. And then we get to put the pistons back down on the back wall. That, gotta break our light, and we can just move it up one so that it's not super dark. And then we get to take the block of redstone, sticky piston, do that again right over there. Let's get this stone out of here, and let's get the light back down because it's slightly dark over here. So now that we have this, again, we need to build up over here a little bit, and I'm just gonna fill in with stone just so that we never actually have an error, or so we don't have an issue with losing any sugarcane that these pistons break. So we're actually gonna want stone there, and I'm probably gonna put glass on this side just so that we can actually see in once I'm done. But we're gonna have it like this, and then we're going to need to line across the top right up here with some stone. Bring it back over here, and we're going to need to put a block there, there, and there. And then we are going to be putting a redstone repeater down right like that, and setting it back too. And now we get to line the redstone along this. Like this, we're wasting some stone here, but oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to get over there a little bit. I guess we can just build up right here. Whatever. We'll just do this. I'm not too worried about losing stone because obviously my mining trip from the other day got me a significant chunk of stone. And we'll just put a light down right there. We can break this. So this is actually going to be the full setup, and we can just put some sugarcane down here. And hopefully one of these will grow so you guys can see how it works. But we're also going to be putting some glass over here just because I want to make sure that none of the sugarcane gets kicked over here. So, oh my gosh, we're going to have to break this again. Let's just put this right here. That should be okay. So we'll just line this wall with glass again. And we can put some stone on the ceiling then for it, just to cap it off. And that should be good. Bring it one more over here. And we can put the glass down a little bit just to make it look nice and encased. I think that actually looks pretty cool. And now what we can do is I think if an item gets kicked onto a conveyor by water, it should automatically pick it up, but I'm not sure, so we can test that out right now. So let's just put the conveyor down there, and let's toss some sugarcane in there and see if it picks up on the conveyor. It does. Okay, awesome. So we can put the conveyor like that, and then we can put one right here and bring it up. And we're going to run it right over into this. So fastest way, of course, is just to run it like this. And so every sugarcane that gets knocked down from in here should get brought over here and put into the fermenter. So if we do it like that, it should get kicked in there. And yep, you can see it goes right into where it needs to. And obviously this does have a buffer, so I don't need to worry about it, you know, sugarcane being produced too fast. Not that I think that would actually happen, but on the off chance that it does, we do have a buffer in there. And I guess I can kind of try and show you guys how this works. If I were to just go like that, you can see it automatically updates and pushes it out, and then we are good to go. And it'll do that every time. So every time one grows, it'll get put in there. And I do want to make a second setup of this, but I don't. How wide is this? Oh my gosh, fight against the current. Okay, so how wide is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we actually could put a second setup right over here, which is probably what I'm going to do. The reason I'm not lining them up right against each other is on the off chance that one of the sugarcane gets kicked over onto this block right here. If we did have sand here, we would be missing out on some sugarcane. So I'm more worried about missing out on sugarcane than I am about using an extra block of space. So the water stream for this side is going to go right here, and we'll just kind of mirror it so it looks nice. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to look in then from this glass, but you know, it's whatever. So we can actually literally just mirror it exactly, and we should have just enough conveyor belts to get it up here, because we can just kick this one up right onto this there too. That actually looks pretty nice. And I feel like we're going to get ambushed by a zombie because I hear one somewhere. Are you out here? Nope. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing on this side then. I don't know why I broke that block there, but we're going to put sand down all along here. And I know this might be a little bit boring because it's the same exact setup, but you know, you do what you got to do, guys. And get that there, and we can just, oh, you know what? I actually used up all my stone. We can go back upstairs and get some fresh stone because we have a bunch of it. And one thing I noticed, guys, that's actually interesting, and I'll show you guys this. Watch what happens if we fully fill this and we toss stone up there. It doesn't go in the chest. So you know how I pointed out earlier, if you've seen the one of the earlier episodes when I set up this system, I pointed out that if you have an item going in one side, it'll put it in the top 3 rows, and then if you have it in the other side, it'll put it in the bottom 3 rows. Turns out it can only put it in those rows. So I feel like that's a little bit of a bug, that it doesn't actually register this like one big chest, but instead 2 small chests still. But I can live with it. I just kind of organize stuff like this so that the ingots will always go in there, and eventually I will try and find a workaround on that. It might be, you know, dropping it into a hopper that inserts it into one of these just so that it's not actually a conveyor putting it in here. But, you know, that's what you got to work with. Not much I can do about it, really, but I suspect it is a bug. So we can fill that in right there. And now this time we actually need to manually make a wall here, just because we're not going to have one to put the pistons up against, and this is actually going to look super gross now because it's going to kind of block off like the whole room. So you're going to walk down here and you're just going to see this. It's going to look pretty bad, but that is okay. We can get some water here, and I wonder if any more have gotten. Nope, I guess they haven't grown. We can put a torch there just to make sure there's light. And now we get to do all the pistons. It actually probably would have been better to not put water in there, but that's fine. And 8th piston right there. Wow, we're really cutting it close on space here. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to have just enough space. I'm not even actually going to be able to get back in there because we're going to be... Oh my gosh, we're not going to have enough space. I'm going to have to move this over one. Oh, man. Okay, that's unfortunate. So it looks like we're going to have to break this and move it over one. So we can actually leave most of it constructed. We got to break these and this right here, and these top blocks, and we should be able to do this. We got to break these too. Other than that, though, we should be okay. It's not really saving us much time, guys, but it's okay. We will manage. So we can do that, fill it in, and put that around. We'll be good to go. Can reform it right there. Okay, so now we can get our block of redstone out, put it right here. Honestly, I probably should have moved this further over, but it's fine the way it is, I think. Oh, fight against the current again, because we got to get back here. So that should be good. Now we got to set up the actual redstone portion of it, the very fancy redstone portion. Hopefully the redstone, I think the redstone interacts if you put it on the bottom of this, and it will automatically eject stuff, but I don't think it should interact if we just kind of throw it right here. Put that to 2. Oh, what am I doing? Why am I constructing it here? I'm constructing it on the back right here. I actually didn't need to move that. Wow, okay. So it needs to go right here. That was really stupid of me. Oh my gosh, okay. So we didn't need to move it, but now we actually have a little bit more room to get in here without having to fight against all this. Well, there's really no space in here, as is. Even if we did move it, there's still no space, but it's okay. So that needs to go there. Set that to 2. Go like that. And now we get to run this along the top again. And we don't need to do the awkward jumping to try and place this redstone because we are already up here. So we got this. And now we can close it off. And everything should be working, I believe. We just have to put this last conveyor belt down. And we can... Oh my gosh. I think jumping actually makes it worse. I don't think you can fight against it if you're jumping. We got to get in here and get... Oh my gosh. Is there any way that I get in there? Is there... I don't think there's any way I get in there, guys. Okay. I'll break the glass. I don't even care. I'll break the glass. I have enough glass. Oh my god. Oh gosh, guys. I can't fight against the water, too. We'll break more glass, and we can get over here now. Oh, okay. I just wasted solid 4 blocks of glass, but it's okay. So, we're through there, and this can carry us back up, kick us over, and we can place this glass back down. Like I said, there's really no reason for the glass to be there in the first place, but, you know, it's whatever. So, this should be working. When any of these grow, it should kick it out and get picked up by this and put it in here. So, I will throw the 28 in there now, and we can start setting up the power for this whole system. So, we do have some medium voltage wires. I believe it takes 80 RF to actually process one of these, so it doesn't take that much, but we do still need to wire it down here. And let me just try and get a sense of where we are. It looks like that's our sorting conveyor right there. I can see some wire right there if we wanted to bring it down. Okay, so let's go upstairs and actually see what we're working with. And we can wire it directly above that, and then we can wire it down. So the hole is, wow, it's okay, so it's right here. So this is a little bit of an inconvenient spot to have to wire it to. Gosh, okay. How about right over here? Is there anything below this? Where's the closest spot below this? I'm just going to tear up all this stone, trying to find the nearest spot that we fit in below this. Okay, so right here is the nearest spot. Okay, so I want to keep this to the edge, so what we're going to do is this right here. We're going to sacrifice some resources to get this to work. You guys ready for this? You ready? We're going to put this down right up there. Nope, doesn't want to do it. Okay, fair enough. Get this down right up there. We're just going to hook up to this, which will be right down here. And then this is going to hook up to something that's going to be right out here, like that. We can fill this in now so it doesn't look super disgusting. We're still going to have a hole up there we have to deal with, but it should be okay for now. So that is hooked up to that, and now this gets to, this actually probably can get wired directly over there because I don't think that's 16 blocks. So let's get up there and put that down and connect it. Oh, that's right, I forgot. We still need to get it connected upstairs. Oh my gosh. I should have placed those down last. That was a mistake. Okay, so this needs to be wired over to this. Now it should be running downstairs so we can go and take a look at what we just made. Yep, it is running. Very nice. It's filling up with ethanol. You can see it speeds through these pretty quick. Oh wow, I didn't realize it could do more than one at a time. It can actually do 9 at a time, it looks like. That is awesome. So there's no way we're going to get an excess with our system right here. We actually might need to expand upon this. I might need to make this room even bigger just to add some more of these setups, because this might burn through it really fast, but the key is going to be getting a nice kind of equal creation of the seeds and the sugarcane, because they're both going to be generating 80 of their respective fluids. So when we combine them, we're going to want an even amount of each fluid. I assume you actually need an even amount. I'm not too sure, but assuming you do need an even amount, we're going to want them generating roughly the same amount. So that's going to be the key. Rather than generating a ton of each, we're going to want an equal amount of each. So hopefully this helped you guys. If it did, feel free to give the video a like. It would help me out a lot, but I will talk to you guys later.